This video that I'm about to play was created when I was 65. The day is May the 13th, and May the 29th of this year, I'll be 67. Today, I put a post up, and let me tell you how it read. And this is a follow-up to this video you're about to see, an update. And it went like this, the post on Facebook. On May 29th, I will turn 67. My key to life: stay young at heart and always believe in impossibilities. Always see life through the eyes of the young while moving with the eyes of the wise. So this is my update to this video, just to give some more information. I do want to say that we do follow Kwanzaa and those principles, including self-determination, pride, collective economics, and all of those different principles. So I've been into community and economic development for over 30, maybe 40 years. And the principles that guides me and my approach to economic and community development is taken from Kwanzaa. The different principles include unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. This becomes my my framework to community building in the African American communities. And also, let me share with you on information I didn't share with you in the first video that you are about to see in terms of my background. So my background includes training from Bank of America, and HUD, Health and Human Service on the federal level, Small Business Administration, the Enterprise Community, as well as LIST Foundation. These are two of the largest foundations in the country in terms of affordable housing and community building. Collectively, I received training from both of these entities. As a matter of fact, I was so good at what I did that back then, Enterprise Community brought me in as a consultant in order to put together a strategy in Baltimore. Now, what was interesting about Enterprise, it was the first community comprehensive initiative, and people from around the country came to then Baltimore, Sandtown, to see what was going on. It offered the most greatest hope. And it was led by then Jim Rouse from the Foundation Center. Now, in addition to using a private sector approach to reducing the deficiencies in community and including increasing affordable housing, they brought trainers from around the country to give insight from Harvard, from Yale, from Princeton. These are just some of the entities that came and gave approaches and strategies. And again, this becomes the background of my understanding of community development. In addition to that training, it includes the Johns Hopkins University that focuses on community development, the Small Business Administration, FAMU, and Florida. All of these different training over the years have prepared me for my current focus on changing the narrative in community development. So I'm 27, and the name of this video today is going to be my story. From a menace to society, gang, to a community, to being a community builder of society, change. Another thing that life has taught me in these 67 years is do not fear the loud one in the room. Fear the silent person, for he or she presents the greatest threat. I think another thing that I've learned is that God will clean up your mess. Truthfully, I know as many as times that I've gone to God with my mess, He straightened it out. And then a week later, I'm coming back again with my mess. And again, God has always straightened it out. And that's the glory of God. He always will straighten out your mess. That's another lesson I learned. And I know when I talk to God, he be like, Mike, you back again. What am I going to do with you? But God always comes through. So that's one of the most important things I want to stress. God always got your back. So that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. Again, keep in mind, this video was created in 2020 when I was 65, but I still stand by the contents. My name is Michael Randolph. Today I turn 65, and I have a story to tell. I was born in Baltimore, specifically the Sandtown Winchester community, West Baltimore, in Baltimore City. I didn't grow up poor. I grew up damn poor. I grew up in a one-block neighborhood called Collette Street. It was known as an alley street. Some people call it Plating Place. I've seen so many people killed in that neighborhood. Well, Collette Street is gone now, and it's been rebuilt. But I remember how it felt to go to school with tennis shoes that had holes in it, and your moms will put cardboard in it in order for you to go to school. She taught us to be proudful. In my neighborhood, we dealt with roach infestation, rat infestation. In the basement where I grew up in, it was dirt. So you can imagine having to go all the way down to the basement. Keep in mind, this is Baltimore City. and the basement was dirt. So when you go in there, you're walking in dirt to get to the bathroom, and it stayed cold all the time. I remember when the heater was turned on and the oil that was in the air. I don't even think I understood what pool was until I was older, because my mother did such a good job. She was a single mom. She worked on the railroad, and she did what she had to do to make sure me and my other brothers and sisters survived. In my community, people treat you like you are second-class citizens. And when I say second-class citizens, I want to emphasize this. This flow from the way people teach you from the agencies that you have to interact with, to the employment opportunities that you have, to the whole narrative when folks are considered by the zip code that they come from and not by the character or contents of who they are. This is what I mean by second-class citizen. Ask the average poor person and they can tell you when they have to interact with agencies and things of that nature. My community, people treat you like you are second-class citizens. Because it's true. Depending upon your zip code, depending upon the way you talk, people judge you accordingly in second-class status. I remember when my moms will fight for us because of one situation or another, and how she had a sixth grade education, and she wasn't the best articulator, but she was a strong Black mother, and how the general society, especially those of the elite, those who are the game keepers that decide what should and what shouldn't go into a neighborhood, those type of folks would always look down upon her. In my heart, I would always say, when I grow up, I'm going to create a situation in which the people who live in the poorest of the poorest of neighborhoods are given the value just like any other group of people. Your income or social status in life should not determine your wealth. Grown up in some of the most violent neighborhoods in the United States, from Baltimore to Tampa. I witnessed my first dead body when I was age 11 to 12. I'll never forget that. So we were, me and a couple of my other friends, it was a summer day out of school, and we was on our way to catch some bumblebees. we had our little soda bottles that we used in order to catch bumblebees. So we went out to catch some bumblebees. I remember we had to climb over a truck in the vacant lot in order to get to the flower in which the bees were eating. And we caught the bumblebees, got off the truck, and when we looked under the truck, what we saw was a body. The body was the body that had been there for a while. The body had no face, and the stomach was had blown all the way up as if the person was pregnant. That's how long the person was under there. And there was no skin on the person. So you can imagine that was the first time that I saw a dead body. I witnessed my first actually seeing a person killed at age 13 or 14. My brother was shot twice. The first time he made it. The second time he died. So when I say up close and personal violence, my mother, who was at the time in her late 50s to 60s, was shot in the back when she was trying to save my little nephew, who was age 7, doing the shit out, and which she had nothing to do with. But for the grace of God, she survived. When I say my neighborhood was bad, I mean my neighborhood was bad. We used to do the gang thing. That is, I was part of a neighborhood gang. And we thought we were the bomb. On Pennsylvania Avenue and Gold, that's where we used to hang out. I remember when, if you wasn't part of that hood and you came past Pennsylvania and Gold in Pennsylvania and Baker, and you was walking and you wasn't thugging, or you wasn't part of, a neighborhood, you'd have to pay to continue to walk. We thought we was the bomb. I remember when we used to go to parties and we used to, house parties, put all our coats on the floor and stand against the wall and dare somebody to touch it. That's the neighborhood I grew up in. One of the roughest neighborhoods in the country. So, with a clear understanding of all of the problems in the city, I started to have an understanding that in order to change it, you have to be part of the solution. A person once told me, Mike, you remind us of the spook that sat by the door. And we're going to come back to the reason why that's so important as you begin to work with communities to build them to capacity. So the first award you see here is from a group that I worked with. Just to give you a little up to speed, I oversee, and we're going to talk about the group in a little while, an organization that works with and empower grassroots neighborhoods to actually fulfill their vision. So this was given to me by one of those groups a couple of years ago, and it's really dear to me. This other award I received on my birthday was from Job Plus in the residents of the Rovers Park projects. When you are committed to the streets and you're committed to manifest that change in communities, you become recognized. And I really appreciate everything related to that. Now let's go back to the spook that's set by the door. You must curate your own value or someone else will. From Sandtown, Baltimore, to Tampa, Florida, I've been trained by some of the brightest minds in the country on neighborhood transformation. From Ivy League institutions to lenders, investors, developers, and other think tank individuals and other professionals in the field on how to transform the community. I was trained on how to do the money deal in order to create on scale projects that enhance the quality of the community. Even to today, I remain in one of the most violent communities in the country here in Tampa, Florida, in Roberts Park. Even here, violence hadn't escaped me a couple of weeks ago. More, maybe a couple months ago, there was a bullet that hit part of my window, kitchen window, down the bottom. Didn't come through or penetrate. But it was as a result of a situation in which someone was spraying the neighborhood with a AK something. It was a machine gun. Have you ever tried to dance around bullets? Have you ever heard when that type of machine gun goes off, when they go pee, 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 pop, 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 pop? You don't know which way to run. Eventually I hit the floor. But I'm only trying to say that I understand what it means to live in the most violent neighborhoods in America. That's what led me to start the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development, to give voice to the voiceless. In most communities, especially when you're a grassroots group, the elite determines what should or shouldn't be. The gatekeepers, those who are in authority. And a lot of times, those people that can actually create the change that people consider second-class people are not given an opportunity to make change in that neighborhood. That's why I'm committed. See, old school is poor people are big business. And businesses make money on poor people mind, poor people pain. Time after time after time after time. From Model City up to now, programs come into the community, but pretty much the community remain the same. New School. New School is based on working with communities so that poor people are developing, designing, funding, planning, implementing, and controlling its own plan to create its own business. as a community. 65 years ago, I was born. 65 years ago, I was born to one of the most violent and poorest communities in the nation. 65 years today, I'm working to change the narrative, not from a perspective of emotion, but a best practice, evidence, evidence-based, data-based approach. Since getting started, we have been able to provide the skill set necessary for neighborhoods to take empowerment in 10 different states, from California to New York. In that time, we have provided training to over 1,500 nonprofits, government agencies, community residents, businesses, and others throughout the United States. I remember that day and looking in my mother's eyes and looking at those people that thought they was better than her, that when I grow up, I'll be committed to creating a change that allows those people that are on the bottom to determine their own destiny, to design their own table, and then to bring to that table, once they have that plan, the different players or the different partners in order to make the plan work, from government, institutions of higher learning, investors, lenders, and others. Once a community designs the plan, then it sets the course for the future of this community. I'm committed until the day I close my eyes to fulfilling that dream.
On top of a lot of issues that's going to go around, so we really appreciate your advocacy as well, man.
And you know, Mike has been known Mike a long time, for decades. Y'all know Mike had a medical setback. You know, he had lost a lung. And we thought we was going to lose Mike one year. We thought we was going to lose Mike. And Mike has come back, and he is one of the most dedicated people. You may not hear and understand him, but he's a very smart guy. He's one of the best consultants when it comes to consulting on economic development and community, including crime in the United States. People don't realize that. We're all glad to have Michael Randolph.
Absolutely.
Everything that I learned through all those different entities prepared me for when I came to West Tampa to begin to work with the neighborhood to create a strategy that was created by the residents of West Tampa and the West Tampa CDC to create a strategy, a holistic approach to community development. And then more importantly, that created a table in which we invited folks from around the country, as well as the community, to buy into our plan. What was different from this plan is that it was a bottom-up approach in which the residents working with the West Tampa CDC put together the strategic plan to get buy-in from the community. And when I say we got buy-in, this meeting, we had people from the national, state, local, neighborhood groups throughout the Tampa. We got people that were from around the country that was looking at what is a best practice approach to reducing gentrification and increasing community quality of life. Our strategy was based on the poor to the rich transformation process. This was a one-of-a-kind approach, and it was based upon all of the things, all of the people that I met in my life. So that's my story. And please follow us or join our Facebook group. The Facebook is called, group is called the Center. The Facebook is called, the group is called, Facebook group is called New School, Next Generation Approach to Creating, Transforming Poor Communities. Or you can email me at Center for Nonprofit and Community at gmail.com. So that's my story. I continue to go, continue to fight. Because at the end of the day, I believe that change comes from within. And when we provide neighborhood groups and organizations with the tools to fight, then we change the narrative.